One of the hardest things to do in all of sports is find your way to the global championship podium during any international event. This means clawing your way through world-class competition during the biggest moment of every season. And if you're fast enough, strong enough, or sometimes tactful enough, you can find yourself earning a medal in a global final. Reaching such an esteemed position has only continued to elude many of the world's greatest athletes. And that's because you have to be the elite of the absolute elite to reach this medal stand. Some of my personal favorite athletes have still yet to earn an international medal, but that doesn't make them any less talented. It just proves how hard it really is to find your way into the top 3. In the 2025 World Track and Field Championships in Tokyo, Japan, finding our way to the podium in any event proved to be quite challenging. In addition to the 9 total championship records that were broken here, this competition also broke another very interesting record, as a total of 53 nations made it to the medal table after this 9-day event. This is more than any previous year in World Championship history, as the previous record stood at 46 nations, which was set back in the 2007 World Champs in Osaka, Japan. I guess Japan brings out some of the best performances of any season. Statistically, these world champs saw more diversity from more countries bringing more hardware than any year before it. And this statistic got me thinking. With such a robust amount of talent from all over the globe reaching this medal destination, which athlete made the single greatest improvement in order to reach this world top 3? Which athlete put together, statistically, the best moment of their career in order to win a single medal? Well, the answers might surprise you. In this year's World Championships, the record-breaking statistics were honestly amazing. We saw 9 new area records, we saw 62 national records, there were 22 new world-leading marks, and take a guess at how many new personal records were set in Tokyo. Go ahead, I'll give you all a few seconds. Well, in total, Tokyo saw 210 new PBs that went down in this year's World Champs. I knew that Tokyo brought out the best athletes in the world, but 210 new PBs is something that I had no idea was even possible. In breaking down this number, we can see that out of the 1,992 athletes competing in this year's World Champs, just over 10% of them set personal bests in their event. Now, there may have been a few athletes that ran PBs in multiple events, such as Melissa Jefferson Wooden in the 100 and the 200 meters, but still, approximately 10% of the athletes in Tokyo performed better than they ever have in their careers. That's the power of a global final in Tokyo. With so much depth and so many clutch performances, it was quite difficult to track down the single greatest medal-winning moment based on personal records. But after reviewing every single athlete that reached these medal podiums, here are the top 3 athletes that improved their PBs better than anyone else in the world. Coming in with the 3rd best PB in these World Champs, we have Celinda Morales from Cuba in the women's discus, who improved on her own personal best by 2.2% with a throw of 67.25 meters. This improved on her previous best throw of 65.80 from earlier this season. So this throw was well over a meter longer than anything that she had ever done before. So this is without question an amazing moment from Tokyo. Coming in at number 2, we have Julesi Angulo from Ecuador, who threw out of her mind to take the gold medal in the women's javelin. With a second round effort of 65.12 meters, this improved on her previous personal best by 2.95%. A truly massive leap in personal record throwing and one of the biggest moments of this entire competition. Now, before we unveil the number 1 best performance based on personal bests, a few honorable mentions include Cindy McLaughlin-Lavrone in the women's 400, who achieved a PB of 47.78, which equates to an overall improvement of 1.96%. There was Colleen Kebenashippi in the men's 400, who improved on his personal best by 1.56%, as he took the gold in the men's 4 with a time of 43.53. And we also have to mention Cameron Rogers in the women's hammer, as she improved on her own personal best by 2.06%, and she is now ranked at number 2 all time, and she is one of only 4 athletes to throw in excess of 80 meters. There were many moments where an athlete performed significantly outside themselves in Tokyo. However, there was one athlete with one key performance that saw such a drastic improvement that it really wasn't even close as to who would come out on top. With the single biggest improvement of this entire competition, the number 1 spot goes to Kate O'Connor in the women's heptathlon. Now, for O'Connor from Ireland, she took the silver medal with a total point score of 6,714, which was just slightly behind the winner Anna Hall from the US. But when reviewing what exactly Kate O'Connor was able to do in this women's heptathlon, it's no wonder that she came out on top with the single biggest improvement. In the women's 100 hurdles, she ran a new PB of 13.44 seconds, scoring just over 1,050 points. In the high jump, she also achieved a PB of 1.86 meters. In the shot put, she didn't quite achieve a new PB, but she still threw a solid distance of 14.37. However, in the 200 meters, she again achieved a new personal best of 24.07, scoring just shy of 1,000. Over in the long jump, she went 6.22 meters, not quite a new PB, but quite close. However, in the women's javelin, Kate O'Connor went off, throwing 53.06 meters to come out in first place by a huge margin in this event. And to close out this competition, she threw down another personal best in the women's 800 with a time of 2 minutes, 9.56 seconds. And with all of these new personal bests on the biggest stage in the world, she improved on her personal best by 3.45%. This is a nearly unheard of jump when it comes to personal record improvements on the biggest stage in the world, and it also makes a difference to know that it was hot and humid in Tokyo, and yet O'Connor still clutched up in this women's heptathlon final. This year's Tokyo World Championships brought us some of the most unforgettable moments in history, but nobody showed up more, nobody clutched up to quite the degree that Kate O'Connor from Ireland did. And this silver medal position in the women's heptathlon could very well be the beginning of her powerful future, because performing like this in a World Championship final is just so uncommon that I think it's very possible she could be set to win a global final in the very near future. And given that she is still only 24 years old, she has many more years left to be at the top of her game. And now I would love to hear from all of you about this year's World Championships in Tokyo. What were some of your favorite events? Which events surprised you the most? And what do you consider the most clutch performance? Maybe not quite based on statistics, but based on simply showing up and performing great when it mattered the most. Thanks for watching, everyone. And as always, until next time.